Hey guys, Jen here. Give me a second. Figure out what page we need to go to, and I'll share that. Here we are. Now, real quick, let me see what it looks like to you guys. And you're not seeing it, are you? Hang on. Did I do that wrong? Hold on, guys. Sorry about this. Okay. There we go. All right, now are you guys seeing what you need to be seeing? I hope. Please let this be right. Okay, it looks like you guys are seeing it. Awesome. I am still getting used to a new device. Please forgive. I am doing the best that I can for right now. So let's catch up real quick since this is the beginning of the stream. If you're new here, welcome. Everybody is welcome. The only thing that is not welcome is hate, no degradation of other people on the channel, please. Let's be adults. Let's be kind. The world's a little batty enough right now. Wouldn't you agree? I don't know how to see your chat as I'm talking and I have the box open myself, but if I go like this, I can see it. So at least that's there. Okay. I don't know how to get rid of the little black box yet. I'm working on that. The thing of it is everything that you practice or that you attempt to do, you have to do it like when you're live. And I know nobody wants to sit and watch me like tool around all the different tabs. So I don't want to put anyone through that. So I am learning as I go with this new device. And I'm used to having two screens, two monitors. The last computerized job I had, we had two monitors, and it's pretty cool, pretty easy. And a real mouse. If you've never used a laptop, the mouse can be tricky to get used to again. So for any little tech difficulties or things that take a moment, I hope that you can be patient. Again, we are adults. This will be a nice video for people to listen to, but you can also watch along, which is why I got the device. I might start including my PayPal again, just in case anyone wants to help with the monthly cost, because I do not own it yet. I'm just a regular girl. I don't have any sponsors. I don't have a posh studio. I'm just some chick in her bedroom hanging out with her best buds, Samson, the pit bully / lab, and little girl, the chai weenie. And yes, they're completely opposite, but they mostly get along, except when she's trying to tear his face off. So there's that. So what we're going to do real quick, I want to give a recap. It's very brief. I talked about the number 5. I feel like the title to this video is like an old Sesame Street, the Count Chocula, not Count Chocula, the count. You'd go and you'd go 1, 2, 3. I feel like the title kind of looks like that, those old titles for Sesame Street, but I think it's user friendly too. And I've noticed a lot of people like copying that as well. So our butterfly effect is continuing on, which is really cool. So the number 5 we'd went over before. We'd went over this previously. How, and this is the way that I witnessed. I cannot speak for anyone else. I can only speak for myself. So in doing such and sharing my testimony, trying to show that God is active in working, our creator, maker, whatever you choose to call that source of all the life energy that is here in this realm, the maker, the father / mother, it doesn't matter to me per se, right? Just as long as you know we are loved. So I'm trying to highlight some of that and actually showcase it through my testimony. That's why I do research with me lifestyle, so that any synchronicities that occur in lifetime can be seen and tracked by us, which is really cool to watch happen in lifetime. So when I talked about the 5s and when I talk about my testimony, I talk about things that affect me, obviously, but not for the sake of talking about me, but of talking about more of how the things that are happening around me are refining me and helping to make me into more of what I believe perhaps I was meant to be like before I sullied myself with all of the temptations of Treasure Island, or the world as we call it here. So, in doing so, for whatever reason, I think I know the reason, and I've touched on it a little bit as far as the Antichrist goes. I think I know the individual, and I know that I've spoken with the quote unquote spirit of the Antichrist. And I've gone over all this with just the strange things that happen in my town and how they say the same things and how basic fundamental things that I thought were fundamental are unknown or forgotten. I'm not going to get into that a whole lot just because it's a little personal. It's just enough to know that I am seeing scripture play out in my life. Now, is it just scripture, or do all books and scripts come to life? I know that's a weird question. We're going to touch on that. It's going to be a sneak peek at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. So, when we talked about the number 5, again, I talk about my testimony because I noticed that when my world turned sideways and then went upside down and inside out, and I was on the other side of the looking glass from 2018, well, 2017 to the beginning of 2019, then it happened in the world. We had CV hit, we had people home alone with each other again who didn't know each other, and some of them found out they didn't like each other. We had people divorcing, families splitting up, and some people behaving entirely out of their natural character. And because of that, and because I believe that the Holy Spirit, God, that connection that I have with the Creator Maker, that we all have, it's nothing special for me. We all have that ability. I believe that this is what I was asked to do, so that's why I do this. So the number 5, personally, is in my life. My spouse and my son worked at a place that had that number in the name. Um, And then when we talk about the mark of the beast is 6, right? Well, 5 is right before 6, and we're seeing 5s a lot right now in our mainstream media and in our social media, and I'm gonna show you that as well. And what we call this is trending terminology. So first, like, for example, we'll do 5. I don't really have anything in this laptop yet, so I don't think I can really dox myself. It's just some personalized ads. So, um I'm seeing, we're gonna click on news here. I will let you see it in a second. And so we just go through and we kind of see what titles and what is happening now that has the number 5 in it. Why did it search twice? That's weird. Okay, I'm gonna share this with you after we go over the Pope news real quick. Okay, so this is different to me. I had never heard of this until recently. You know, I was raised Catholic. Most of you know this. Please don't leave the video just because I was raised Catholic. Everyone is welcome here. I do not dwell under one main paradigm because I'm a researcher. I try to remain above them, not like God, but just in a worldly way. I don't get attached to any of these paradigms. Politics and entertainment are so far from me. I've never been into politics, and so politics of the church are also far from me. But I was raised Catholic. God called me back in a radical way between the end of 2017 and 2018. I had dreams, visions, dreams of the earthquakes and the flooding. I dreamt of the flooding for years before that happened. I talked about how it was going to be in streets and cities and not on the coastline, and tried to warn people. Um, and the name that God gave me when He renamed me and I came back to Him was Helene. So, for anyone who's missed anything, you're kind of basically caught up now. So, here we are now, and this number 5 is popping up everywhere again. And so, we're going to go over that. But I had never heard of this. I know that they open doors as rituals, but I don't know where it came from. And I don't know exactly why they do this. So, we're going to go through this article real quick. So this is EWT, and I obviously do not always agree with what they have to say on this channel. However, I try to pull information from a couple of different perspectives, like a positive, negative, or black, white, dark, light, or just yes, no type of thing, right? So that's why I pull information sometimes that even I don't agree with. So just because I'm showing it to you, again, it's up to you to decide that you're going to accept, receive, and believe or disbelieve the information that we go over. All my disclaimers, as always, are in the description box. And I even noticed, like on my YouTube feed, at least the channels I'm sub to, some of the people have started saying some of the things I say. We really got to talk about what's happening with the phones. Are we seeing the same videos? Are they personalized for us? Is it all AI caricatures to keep our attention? Because that's all they really need and want is our attention. And by showing us what they think that we want to see, are we always then going to be attentive to the lightweight sentient beings or the lower level sentient beings, lower as in lower dimension? And I've talked about that before as far as black goo goes. So 5 holy doors, right? So just so you can see real quick, I'm going to go over high CPU usage detected. Yeah, that's because I have 2 things up right now, but it won't be like that for long. So I want to show you guys something. So I searched the number 5 on, and this is what I got. So 5 Bali 9 drug smugglers returned to Australia after 2 decades. That's in the New York Times. Again, the headlines and the media, that is how they speak with each other. A lot of what you're seeing is not true. A lot of it is acting, and a lot of it is them communicating with each other without leaving a digital or paper trail, a digital footprint or paper trail. So 5 and 9 are really big numbers. 9, Tesla said if you knew the secret behind 3, 6, and 9, you could unlock the key to the universe. So there you have 9. 5 is one of the numbers in the Fibonacci code, or in the Fibonacci cycle code, right? Fibonacci code? Formula? Rule, Fibonacci rule, the golden rule. Sorry about that. So having been in all this pain, I have to take my medication at different times. So if I'm a little brain foggy, I apologize for that. It is the last one I'm on. God has greatly delivered me in a lot of ways, and I am so grateful, and all the glory goes to him. Thank you, Father, for allowing us to fellowship in this time. And I'm not going to apologize for when I decide to praise, because I'm just not going to apologize for that. So we see that 5 and 9 are here, right? Now we have the 5 holy doors. What else was 5? Well, there was another school incident. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. So 5 Denver restaurants, that was 3 hours ago. 5 below. Now we're going to look at retail locations that are named, that have 5 in the title as well. BBC is another title. 5 key. And keys are essential, right? You need the keys to open the gate or the portal or the door to the pit, to the abyss, right? Starting 5's first game together. Okay, so you need 5 players on the court in basketball. 5 board members resign. That's 7 hours. Boston Globe, 5 takeaways from Tuesday. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people right there. And you've got the black and red. That is his color. The Antichrist loves black and red. How do I know that? Because my son loves black and red. Because the technical school that all the high schoolers go to around here is black and red. Because my son went to that school. Need I continue on? Because it breaks my heart thinking the things that I've thought, and they're not imagined things. They're things that they've put in front of me. So obviously they want me to think these things. The 5 charts flashing red for U.S. equity bulls. This right here is a message. We could look at it, but we're not going to right now. So you have 5 right there. And then you've got the bull, who is, I believe, Balaam's animal. The head of the bull is from Balaam. We were just looking at this and talking about this, and we will get back to that. So again, you see a cult right in the streets of America. We're also going to look at that. We're going to do a video about that. And I'm not going to say too much, right? But if anyone wants to know where these ideas come from and these compilations, all you got to do is come back to this channel and go back to the beginning. We talk about a lot of really cool things here, but I'm discouraged because nobody comments during live chats anymore, and it's concerning me. I do not consent to being censored or shadow banned, but sometimes it doesn't matter what you consent to if somebody has more authority than you. Pittsburgh Steelers, 5 key. There's another key. 5 key. Oh, God, they're going to open the abyss. They're going to open the pit. That's what that means. And I've been seeing, like they're already here. Some of them are already here. I can't. Like, this is so... and I'm sorry, like, I laugh when things are stressful. So please forgive me. So this is my town, Pittsburgh. It's going to be really big in the Antichrist reign, as is New York, obviously, as is Florida. All places I told you that you should avoid, even though I love my hometown and I want to go back very soon. Things that I do, I don't always advise others to do because I head into danger. That's kind of what God has me doing in this time. I don't recommend that for most people. So this is Penn Live, 17 hours ago, 5 key. We just saw that phrase up above in another title, 5 key. Now either AI is having a field day or we got somebody trying to message each other, or, which is another possibility, it's just a code in the background of the algorithm of this reality. We'll talk about that too. That does not mean that God isn't real. Just means that he has to keep things moving, right? And so the background things like the rivers, the waters, the oceans, that kind of stuff, right? And maybe our media, because if we got this technology from the fallen angels, they stole it from God. They stole it from heaven. So here's the one I was thinking of. I got it highlighted right now. 5 ended in Wisconsin school, pew pew, including pew pew. Police say. They think that everybody's going to believe this, right? They think that everybody's going to believe the aliens are our friends or it's an alien invasion or whatever. Because there's police and military, vouching for it. And they're the ones having these experiences. Imagine that. Most of the people, if you look, the ones who make it to the documentaries that are on YouTube, that are on Tubi, that are on Netflix, most of them are New Age. Or at least they're not Christian, most of them. And most of them are either policemen, dispatchers, they are in the service, were in the service, vets. They think that because of that, we're going to believe them more. And at this time, if you have not, if you can't discern by now that we cannot trust, nobody is who they said they were. So that's a big one. This is a day ago, but we know that this happened a couple of days ago. And so this one came after, and so did the one above it. 5 key. So what's a key for? What does a key do, guys? It opens things, right? So what is it going to open now? Well, let me show you. Now, I know other YouTubers are talking about this, but I approach things in I believe, a wholly different way. Not holy as in HOLY, holy as in WHOLY. Entirely different way. So I hope that you'll enjoy this video. And I am trying to make things better for you. So see, we have the Pope here with his holy door. Why am I starting with this? Because you may not be Catholic. You may not really care. Here's the thing, guys. There's a reason, there's a saying that all roads lead to Rome. Because our everything, okay, is from the church. Now, they say there's a separation of church and state. I'm going to prove right now there isn't. They said that Rome fell. When exactly did Rome fall? Rome was absorbed into the universal church, into the Catholic Church. This is why I'm concerned that Mary Magdalena kind of disappeared. I don't care for that. And, after persecution, after the bits we see in the Bible, just documentation we have, historically speaking, they went to France. And that disturbs me that is where the church started. But then suddenly you have Peter there and there is no feminine presence, and there used to be. I am not one of them people who's like there should be female priests and deacons. That's a little different. But I do believe there needs to be like a council that is balanced of female and male as far as decision making goes. That's absolutely imperative because we need a voice. We deserve a voice just like the men do. If the men aren't going to speak for us and protect us, as is their job, that's what you're supposed to be doing. Women would know their role more, and we wouldn't feel so pressured to do both the job and raise the children if that pressure didn't exist. And I'm going to anger a lot of people, and I'm going to tell you that a lot of that's fake, and I will cover that in a video too. And I know that just by watching Married with Children and the Flintstones and seeing how their secret clubs act, and then knowing about the Freemasons, what I know about them just from research and from behaviors. I don't think any of them work, and if they do work, it's very little, and it's behind the scenes doing things that it's not what they tell their wives at all. And a lot of them are into polygamous relationships or polyamorous relationships because that's what they want. You see, Joseph Smith had a really good thing, I think. Like, he has some truth in that book, I believe. But he let Satan tempt him with what he wanted. He got his ears tickled with a gospel that he wanted to hear, telling him it was okay to have multiple partners. Now, perhaps maybe he did that to protect the women at the time, so men didn't. There was a lot of things going on with Native Americans and the West being built, and then them fleeing persecution. So there's a lot happening. So maybe you would take multiple women into your home to protect them. That is not marrying them, having children with them, lying with them, and raising those children and having financial um, situations, together. So I know that when I see things like that, it is also a mark of the fallen ones. And I know that when I hear about keys and doors, that we need to pay attention. Now, again, other people are covering this. I've seen their titles. I've not watched any of the videos. I don't want to do videos other YouTubers do. There is a definite need for people who look at situations and current events from a different perspective than the voice that we're mainly hearing. Just because a group or a side, Sammy is drinking his water after his peanut butter. I apologize profusely. Can you ever just not? Okay, I guess not. Hang on. Hang on. So I try to fill a niche that I believe needs filled. We look at these things from a different perspective because you have all these YouTubers now kind of just amalgamating into like some giant, even the reaction videos, they're all the same. They're all showing the same clips. Obviously they want you to see these same clips for a reason. And these YouTubers have been here maybe a year and a half and they've already got 600,000 views. And I know this because I researched myself last night. That's not possible. I mean, it is possible, but not without people behind you, without the algorithm being friendly to you, without you knowing certain things and how to make the algorithm friendly to you. See, they're feeding the beast what it wants to regurgitate, right? They're giving it what it wants to regurgitate back to us, to create this false reality, this augmented reality in our minds. So that's why I look at things from a different view. That's why I don't watch videos that I know I'm going to cover that information. And that's why I do the research live so that you catch and you can hear my reaction and so that you catch these synchronicities that occur with me live. Like we just caught that 5 in the titles of those headlines, right? I should plug this in. I don't. Oh no, it's okay. All right. Now, I hope everything is all right. I wish I could figure out. I'm going to have to figure out how to look at the chat too. I think you are accurate about the pit. Yeah, I feel like I am too. Like, not that I'm trying to. Again, this is not about me. So please, when I say me or I know I say that a lot, but this is like an editorial channel. I'm giving testimony and witnessing to what has happened in my life because I believe again that I know the Antichrist. Um, I believe that I know the family bloodline that this person will come from. I know, just like I showed in a video, you've got to see that if you haven't yet. I know that the people we see on TV are proxies. These elites would never show you their real face. They would never show you their real homes. They don't want you to know things like that. And I get it. Like if you have a lot of money or if you are popular, do you really think the president lives at the White House? I don't. There's too many tours. They give tours there. There's no way they live there. That is too high profile. Too many incidents have occurred. Okay. So just kind of hang with me here because all of it's connected. And I think together, if we walk through this, we're gonna we're going to see a lot of things that maybe you're not noticing on the other channels. So, what is this holy door situation? Okay, so that picture is from he closes the holy door in St. Peter's Basilica in 2016. That was the last time the ritual of the holy doors was done. Now, just because I was raised Catholic does not mean I agree with everything Catholic. However, I will say that the counterfeit kingdom looks a lot like the real God's kingdom. It's just Satan taking something of God's and calling it his. Okay? So there really is a false Catholic church because Catholic meant universal. Everyone is welcome. That's how it was supposed to be. One church for one people, right? In a variety of different languages. Language is culture, and I think we're having a real problem separating culture from faith, and we better get with it real quick because we're offending people. People already think Americans are entitled and spoiled, which we are. Hello. That's why I don't mind, like, I'm taking care of my sick dogs, and I've been doing this. This is a second sick dog I've taken care of. Axel died last October. Jack is probably going to pass. I am taking care of the remnants of my own family. And I spend a lot of time on my knees, scrubbing floors and cleaning up his messes, which is funny because then Elon Musk tweeted, you will spend all day on your knees. And I did a video on that because he's standing in front of his Trump droid. And yes, that is not Trump. And if you think it is, I'm sorry. Look at his teeth and look at his hair. Nobody has real teeth, even false teeth that are like that. Nobody's hair is like that. It looks like it's glued onto his head, but not in a we're gonna look at wax museums too and all this. So not today, but we will. So the message imparted by the holy door is that God's mercy reaches out to mankind's frailty. So we all have rituals. You do too. Every day you get up and you either drink your coffee and brush your teeth, or you brush your teeth and go to the bathroom, whatever you do. That is your ritual. A routine is a ritual. It's a physical expression of something your mind or your spirit knows that needs doing, right? You wake up, it's a fresh day. So your mind and your heart is fresh. And then that's expressed physically through the manifestation of washing your teeth, brushing your hair, and brushing your teeth. I hope that analogy makes sense. And please, there's a verse about that. If you don't understand analogies or parables, it tells you right in the book, God's book, who that is and why they don't understand them. They don't understand these things. And there's a lot of people, there are more than them than there are of regular everyday folks now. That's just a fact. If you can't feel it, again, we are all connected, and that's not woo-woo new age stuff. Like it really is true. And that's why I like the Catholic Church so much is it allows for mystics. It allows for personal interpretation to a point. And they document like nobody's business so that you can go through the ecclesiastical history and follow the lives of these people. Like through the ecclesiastical history, that's how I found out about the vegetarian apostles and saints, or I would have known nothing about that. Nothing. So, anyway, what is a holy door? Where did its designation come from? What significance does it have? Let's check it out. Oh, my bad. See, I'm still getting used to this. What the popes have said. Pope Francis and St. John Paul II have explained the tradition in official documents. Okay, so when the church writes something and they file it away in their giant vault, so to speak, and we need to have hierarchy, right? God is orderly. There does need to be some type of structure. Does it need to be the way that it is now? I'm not the one to say that. I'm the idea person. Applying and implementing the ideas that I have, somebody else would need to do that because I just don't have the resources to do certain things, right? This is why we need to come together, share the messages we're receiving, share the dreams that we're having, boost up the smaller channels so people can hear their messages too. This isn't a monetized channel. I'm simply trying to be a voice here, and my testimony is definitely a cautionary one. Don't do what I do. Don't do what I've done. And I haven't done anything extremely horrible. My body count is under 20. Um, but and today that's actually a good thing, I guess. It still feels like way too many to me. But anyways, moving on. That's why I do this. So when they file something away in their vault, right? It stays there. Now everybody wants to storm the Vatican, wants to know the secrets. Dude, not everything is a secret. It's just about keeping these documents safe so the next generation isn't confused, so that we understand where certain doctrines and certain laws, right, come from. So, with the birth of the Catholic Church, the universal church, you had the fall of Rome. Or did you? All roads lead to Rome because the church absorbed Rome and Rome absorbed the church. Church and state have never been separate. Our laws and our rules all follow the good book. Most people don't understand that. We get the idea of legalities from the book and authority and hierarchy from God's book because God is orderly, okay? Each kind with its kind, right? But he wants us to be individuals. Satan, on the other hand, does not. Satan is the tyrant. Lucifer is the tyrant. He makes, evil never sleeps. This is why you see actors playing 2 and 3 parts because they wanted that lifestyle. They wanted all that stuff. They have to work. They're constantly dancing for the devil, basically. Okay. And I want to go over a movie because there's a movie that goes over that really well. So when these two came together, when like they were absorbed into each other, everybody followed the church. What the Catholic Church said or did, people kind of followed. Thank you for being willing to share thoughts, analysis to help others see. That's very kind of you. Thank you. I will try and figure out how I can see these comments like on the page that I'm on because I can't can I scroll through there? What is that? No, it's not. See, it won't let me do anything. Let's check this out. So when that happened, okay, people kind of, when the church says something, it was law, right? So they'd write it down and they would converse on it and they would have a holy synod about it basically, but not like you see today. So now they're saying that Catholic tradition, the holy door, represents the passage to salvation, the path to a new eternal life, which was open to humanity by Jesus, explained Pope Francis in Spes non confondi. Hope does not disappoint. The papal bull, why do they call it a bull? Officially proclaiming the holy year 2025. I think bull is like, if we look at the etymology of that, that's like a news, right? News shout or newspaper, or like how you had the newsboys that would shout in the corners. Papal bull, how they you talk through a bullhorn. I think that's where they're getting at. Don't quote me. I'm not certain. Okay. A quarter of a century earlier, St. John Paul II wrote of the Holy Door in Incarnationis Mysterium, so the mystery of the incarnation of Christ, probably, his bull of indiction of the Great Jubilee, explaining how it evokes the passage from sin to grace, which every Christian is called to accomplish. Jesus said, I am the door, John 10:7, in order to make it clear that no one can come to the Father except through him. There is a mystical meaning to that a lot of people misunderstand because it's mistaught, and you have to understand we are being taught by the wolves, by people of the fallen bloodline. And they are big, right? And they tell you you're allowed to have money. God doesn't want you to not have money. He doesn't want you to be poor. If you're poor, it's because you're not following God enough, or you're not pleasing God enough, or the way people use the book. And trust me, I've been on the other end of that. I don't agree with everything the churches do, certainly not everything the Pope says or does, but I also don't believe everything the media tells me that other people say and do. And I don't believe everything people tell me. And I don't see people doing that. They're just showing these videos saying, oh my God, what do you think that really is? They're not saying like, okay, this is an agenda. Like, this is seriously, they want us to look up there. Why do they want us to look up there? Why are we looking at Jersey? Where should we be looking? What should we be seeing? So because the Catholic Church and the Pope used to like lead things as far as the world went, and current events and documentation and laws kind of bled from the Catholic Church into like I don't know how English hierarchy and British hierarchy works a lot. I just know that it happened. So please forgive my ignorance there. So Incarnationis Mysterium is mystery of the incarnation. His bull of indiction of the Great Jubilee explaining, no, hold please, I got a really cool link I found. And again, you've got to click on things. Most people don't, but I found a link through all this and through the Vatican City website. And it tells us exactly where this ritual came from. But this will get people who aren't Catholic familiarized with where this comes from. So we're right here. This designation, which Jesus applies to himself, testifies to the fact that he alone is the Savior sent by the Father. There is only one way that opens wide the entrance into the life of communion with God. Now, communion with God, what does communion mean? It simply means you're in agreement with. You are on good terms. You are in God's favor. You're in communion with your family, right? You're in agreement with them. You sit down and break bread with them and have dinner with them. Most of you are in agreement with how to run the household, right? So that's what communion actually means. Communion with God. This is Jesus, the one and absolute way to salvation. To him alone can the words of the psalmist be applied in full truth. This is the door of the Lord, where the just may enter. Psalm 118:20. John Paul II adds that it is the responsibility of every believer to cross the threshold of this quote-unquote door. Why? To pass through that door means to confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. It is to strengthen faith in him in order to live the new life which he has given us. It is a decision which presumes freedom to choose. See that? Freedom to choose. God is not a tyrant. He's not the one that's the tyrant. Okay? Now people will say, well, he wants you to follow him, or he'll punish you if you do. It has nothing to do with that. That's natural law. Even animals, if they make the wrong decision one day to go right instead of left, they will have to deal with the consequences of that decision, good or bad, right? It doesn't matter if people are Catholic. It doesn't matter even if you believe in God. It has no bearing on how things will turn out, because there's natural law that has to be followed. This is why I'm against the manifestation principle. Hear me now. And Christ says, ask and you shall receive, right? If you believe it, you will receive it. There's a problem with that, though, if you're trying to get things that will mess with other people's free will, just like witchcraft. Apothecary doesn't turn into witchcraft until somebody asks you to make a love potion spell to work against somebody else's free will, and you actually do it, right? We can drink teas and mix herbs to get well, to be calm, to sleep better, for comfort. But the second that we start to do these things for our own gain, our own personal benefit, regardless of what it does to others, that's a problem. That's why I have a problem with the manifestation, quote unquote, doctrine of the New Age religion. So to pass through the door means to confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, to strengthen faith in him in order to live the new life which he's given us. It's a decision which presumes freedom to choose and also the courage to leave something behind, and the knowledge that what is gained is divine life. Now, I love the whole concept of a door as a portal anyway. To me, it really is a symbolic ritual, because as you think about it, as you leave a door, you're leaving something behind. That's destruction, like Shiva, like you see in front of CERN, right? That old thing, the old man you leave behind, the old individual you used to be, the old life you leave behind, the old habits and addictions you leave behind. And when you walk through that door and into a new room and you close the door on those old things. And see, I think that's what too many of us aren't doing, is when we open doors, especially into the occult, and then we realize that we've made a mistake, we're running right to God, which we should, but we're not closing these doors that we opened. And then you have messes like you see in the world today. Hold please as I take a drink. Thank you so much for the thumbs up, you guys. That's very kind. It's very encouraging. So again, I'm not going to sit here and preach. I just want to go over this just a little bit. And then we're going to move to something. We're going to get into the woo-woo a little bit. I apologize. We'll get into the high strangeness. Okay, so in scripture, here are references. This is the scriptural background for why Catholics do this as a physical manifestation of our spiritual walk with God, right? You're spiritually walking with God to leave the old stuff behind, leave your old burdens behind, to unburden yourself. And you're walking through this door, right, to receive all the new blessings that the Most High has for you. So it says, here are the scriptural references. So I say to you, ask and it will be given to you, search and you will find it. Remember, if you search for evil, you're going to find that too. Knock and the door will be opened for you. Luke 11:9. I love the Gospel of Luke. I might actually read that on the channel. And we are going to get back to, I have 3 books uploaded and I have like a massive, I'll show it to you before we're done, a massive like note thing I've done. And it's wild, guys. The typecasting thing is going to be a deep rabbit hole, and I might actually call that video an iceberg video because there's so much to go over. So he says, I am standing at the door knocking. If you hear my voice and open the door, I will come into you and eat with you, and you with me. Revelation 3:20. I am the gate. Ooh, that gives me, I don't know, that gives me chills. Whoever enters by me will be saved. So how do you enter a doorway that is another human being? Well, you make yourself like that human being, first of all. The second thing is again, every verse has 3 true meanings. You have the physical manifestation meaning, what that means in the world that we see materially, and you have the spiritual meaning, and also something to do with a timeline, but that's neither here nor there for right now. So spiritually, what does that mean? Well, did you know that when you fast for 3 days, for 72 hours, and you drink only water, there is a chrism that is released from your brain, right? And it goes, I'm sorry, it might be released it's released into your spine, right? And it activates something in the brain. But that's called a chrism. I'm starting to understand that if you're not denying yourself certain things, you're not going to, you'll see you can't get past a certain point. If you're not fasting, and I'm not a doctor, talk about this with your doctor, but again, you're going to come up with excuses if you can, okay? Much of what they've told us here is a lie. And if Christ did it for 40 days, I know that most of us can do it for 3. And I know that I have several times, more than several times. That's what I like about the Catholic Church is we fast, and we fast communally, we fast corporately, we fast together, okay? Corporate actually meant something different. It didn't mean business back in the day. So an exclamation from St. Peter's Basilica affirms the holy door represents Christ, the good shepherd and the gate of the sheep pen. I am the gate. Whoever enters through me will be safe. He will go in and out and find pasture. John 10:9. Consequently, the message imparted by the holy door is that God's mercy reaches out to mankind's frailty. So it says right here that they shared some history. When you click on that, because they're only going to tell you a little bit here, when you click on that, it takes you somewhere else. And I'm going to show you that in 1 second. As soon as I find it. Is it this one? Let's see that. No, it is not this one. Okay, so we'll get rid of that. Okay, here we go. Thank you for your patience. I apologize. Okay, so this is a whole thing, right? And a lot of their documents look like this. You've got the seal up here, okay? And you can click to go back. Okay. So some notes on the right, RIT. Here's my problem with what's happening now. So St. Francis is going to do this thing, and he's going to open 5 doors, okay? Each door is going to represent something. Like the last time he did this in 2016, it was the year of grace, I think, the door of grace, and the year of grace, or he opened the door of the grace of mercy. I might be wrong about that. We'll look at it again. But anyway, this is what he did then. My problem with this is there's 5 of them specifically. And again, 5 is one of the, this is letting you know it's right before 6. It's right before. And there's a lot. We just looked. If you're new here, go back because you got to see how this happened live. We just looked up the word 5 to see how it was trending in the news. And we saw 5 key used in not only a British link, but also an American link. So 5 key. What is the key? The key opens the pit, right? Indeed, it does. Indeed, it does. Maybe what we're seeing are the locusts that will be allowed to be tormented by for 5 months. What do you guys think? What do you think of that thought? Do you think that holds water? Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so we're going to go over this one now, and I'm going to up a little bit. I thought the door was really cool. I like showing you guys really nifty parts of our history. Some notes on the right. All right, I'm going to go over here so I can see if you comment, but I got to lean up so I can read this. The sign of the holy door in the bull of indiction, indiction, right? Indict. To indict, indiction, indict. I think when you say indict, the root word, it's indict, and when you add to it, it's indiction. Of the Great Jubilee year 2000, Incarnationis Mysterium, or I am, His Holiness Pope John Paul II speaks of certain signs which have enriched the celebration of the Jubilee throughout history. He mentions in particular the sign of the Holy Door. And I showed you in the Pope video, one of the first Pope videos. I mean, he's going to have his own playlist, darn it. In the first Pope video, I showed you how they seem to be using a fake, and back then it looked really bad. Like it looked like somebody you would see at an amusement park when them fake people with a real bright paint, like they're made of steel. You could knock on them and they're like they're made of like painted steel or hard mache. Anyways, the little cart that carries them around, that's what was going on. But they also tried to end him with a pew-pew, that same pope. So, I don't blame them for doing things like that. My problem is, do we actually have real people out there? Or is this all mind control? Government governing our minds, mind control, to make us think that these restrictions are out there just because there are some who don't follow rules? Is this all how we police ourselves? I guess is what I'm asking. And if it is like that, how long has AI actually been around? So how does religion and all that? Well, again, the all roads lead to Rome. People used to follow what Rome did and what the church did. Now they're making a circus of it, and Satan is doing that on purpose. He wants you to hear these things and just be so upset that you leave the church. He wants you to assume that everything you're hearing is true so that you leave the church, so that maybe you don't even go back and find out that your priests or your bishops or cardinals know nothing of what you're talking about because you're listening to false reportings on the internet. I'm just saying that's always a possibility. Always. Okay, so His Holiness John Paul II speaks of certain signs which have enriched the celebration of the Jubilee throughout history. So the Pope has a Jubilee year, like the Catholic Church, right? And that's for everyone. Like again, there's nobody is refused. Like, hey, grace is for everyone. This is for everybody. He's supposed to be the vicar of Christ. He's supposed to be the placeholder of Christ, literally. Right now, all of us who take his name and bear his name, we are the placeholders, because I think a lot of these people, I have a really bad feeling either the Pope has already been isolated, restricted, and basically jailed, or that he's no longer with us because he did change. Like the stuff that they're releasing now is not the same way that he was talking previously. But again, there's so much that it could be, but I've thought for a long time, like, they tell you to not rely on your feelings, but you have to understand that your gut intuition, your gut instinct is what they've been trying to rid you of. They don't want you to know that they're right beside you. Even people like Pockets of the Future said that like your gut is like the lowest. It might be the lowest vibrationally, but that lets you know what's around you. It lets you know when you should be afraid and when you should understand that there's prey or sorry, when there's a predator near you. Now, I'm not telling you to run. because only prey runs, and they will see you as prey if you run. And we are not all human here. I've been saying it for years now. Kind of glad everybody's catching up. Okay, so the Holy Door of the Jubilee of the year 2000 should be symbolically wider than those of the previous Jubilees, because humanity, upon reaching this goal, will leave behind not just a century, but a millennium. So this was called TMA 33. Now, they used to open the doors every 33 years. 33 is Christ's number. It's God's number. They all started with God, right? The counterfeit kingdom likes to hijack that number for their secret messages, for their secret clubs. 33. That is the year that Christ died. That is also how many vertebrae you have for that chrism to travel through and release in your brain and activate certain things, certain spiritual gifts. Again, if you are not fasting and denying yourself in this time, the next couple of years, if they're here, will be very hard for you. You need to understand that you have to go without things. I've fallen into that a bit recently with the cold. My body gets very uncomfortable with the cold, and I just want to be warm. And so, I'll buy a pair of shoes or two because I walk everywhere, and that's like gas in my vehicle, right? I am my own mobility vehicle. Conveyance. I am my own conveyance. So instead of paying gas and insurance and all that and oil changes, I pay for shoes and coats or socks, to get to work. So I fall into the materialism too. So please, when I'm talking about these things, like I'm talking to myself too, right? Okay, so they used to do it every 33 years. The rite of the consignment and reading of the bull of the announcements. Bull means announcements, basically, here is what it meant. That's why the bull, I think, is in front of Wall Street, because it's like he's the old paper boy. He's the symbolism of the paper boy. What would he say? News here, get your news here. And then he'd talk about the headlines or whatever. Back in the day, we did not respect children at all. Like we used them quite a bit. They were chimney sweepers. They were small enough. They were the only ones who could get in there. They worked in mines that regular adults could not get into. They did things adults did not want to do. Why? Because most of them were not their children. This is where the orphan trains come from. They mistreat them, number one, because they're not even theirs. Number two, because those individuals don't know how to love. Again, we are here with the enemy, not just spiritually, but in the flesh. We have a severe misunderstanding of what spiritual actually means, thinking that it means it cannot interact with us, right? It cannot be seen. It cannot touch us. Spiritual to me at this point just means it's on another frequency, but it's just as real as we are. And those frequencies are starting to line up. They want everybody. And I think they tell you that, like, they steal the loosh, they steal the energy. And while that may be true, they want us very low. They want us depressed, sad, guilt-ridden, because number one, those things smell that. I went over this with you when I did the high strangeness videos about Bigfoot. Whatever you want to call him, he's in the woods. They worship him, but they don't realize that Bigfoot or Sasquatch, the Nephilim, are the UFOs. Whoever runs the UFOs, those are above Bigfoot in the hierarchy, so they control Sasquatch, right? And not all of them are wicked. I need to make that very clear. And I can't believe I'm talking about these things. I can't believe at my age, with grown children, that I'm discussing these things, but they need discussed. And we've been lied to and deceived for a long time. And I guess, sometimes you think you're doing what's best by covering things up, and you don't realize that that's going to do more damage later on. If you sweep something that important or that vital or that detrimental under the rug, sooner or later somebody's going to trip over that and get very hurt. Another analogy for you. My husband used to be great at them. So the rite of consignment and reading of the Bull of Indiction of the Great Jubilee took place on the first Sunday of Advent 1998 in the atrium of the Vatican Basilica in front of the Holy Door itself. The door, although closed, was appropriately decorated for the season as if to indicate to all the attitude of contemplation and positive hope with which the Church has long been prepared to cross the threshold of Jubilee the year 2000. So the importance of that will also find ritual expression. For the first time in history of the Holy Years, the Pope will personally open all four doors of the Roman Basilica. So that was the first time that happened. 2. The rite of the opening of the door in tradition. According to the description given in 1450 by Giovanni Ricciali of Viterbo. It was Pope Martin V who, in 1423, at the Basilica of St. John Lateran, opened the Holy Door for the first time in the history of the Jubilee. In those days, Holy Years were celebrated every 33 years. In the Vatican Basilica, the opening of the Holy Door is mentioned at Christmas 1499. On that occasion, Pope Alexander VI desired the Holy Door be opened. Blah, blah, blah. St. Mary, major, and St. A outside on the walls. Okay, so how they do this, right? Now, I didn't know this. Oh, bollocks. That's wrong. There I am. I didn't know this, but I guess they actually, like, when they close one of these doors, they brick it up with brick and mortar. They actually, like, put bricks in front of it. And then when they get ready to open it, they tear down those bricks. They did that on December 2nd in preparation for this ritual. Now, the ritual itself is normal. It's something we've done just to, okay, now it tells you the order of the ritual, how it's done. He takes a hammer, recites the verses, strikes the wall, covering the holy door 3 times. The Pope returns to his seat and says the prayer, Actione Nostras. The Masons continue the work of opening the door to the, and that Mason there means that's their job, masonry, okay? Freemasons took that title because they're good at building things. That's why all the World's Fairs. And have you seen that Donald Trump is going to have a World's Fair? Why is nobody talking about that? Oh my gosh, I have to cover that too. Like in 2025, he plans to have a World's Fair. I kid you not. This is wild. I can't believe I'm alive in this time. So the Masons continue the work of opening the door to the chanting of the psalm, Libellate Deo Omni Terra. Something earth. Jubilation? The Pope genuflects at the threshold, meaning he bends at the knee. He kneels at the threshold of the door. The Pope is the first to pass through the holy door as the choir chants the Te Deum Laudamus. That's a exaltation song to the Lord. The procession moves towards the altar for the celebration of the Vespers. And then you have the closing of the door, which is a different thing altogether. So from 1500 to 1950, the rites remained basically the same. They did not change. But after that, they did change. And that's what I want us to look at, because this is after Vatican II. This is when the whole church changed. At Christmas 1975, modifications were made to the rite of the closing of the Holy Door. The Pope no longer used the trowel and the bricks to begin the rebuilding of the wall, but simply closed the 2 sides of the bronze door. The door, which until that time had been inside the basilica, thus faced outside as we still see it today. The wall, which once covered the door outside, was later built inside, and on February 27th, 1975. Okay, so do you see? Am I crazy? Do you see what was just done there? Let me go back over here just to see if anyone comments. Did you see what they just did there? They inverted it. They didn't just change it. They inside outed it. They pulled a flim flam. Check it. Wait, I'll show you. Oh, I need to go back up. Okay, so the Pope no longer used the trowel and the bricks to begin the rebuilding of the wall. He simply closed the 2 sides of the bronze door. The door, which until that time had been inside the basilica, thus it faced the outside, as we see it today. The wall, which once covered the door outside, was later built inside. So it's almost like if a door is a portal, they're opening it inside out now, or backwards. And that's really all I needed to see of that. That's what I wanted to check into, was what had changed after Vatican II. Because again, the church leads the way. What the church does, the world does eventually, or in their ways, right? If the church is backwards, so will the world be. Why do you think so many big people are trying to join the Catholic Church now? Because they can get in now that the ground isn't totally consecrated in certain places. I'm sorry, I get really worked up about these things because they kind of trigger me and all the stuff that I've been through. And for these people to lie to me every day and say, "We're not Satanists. We didn't do that. We don't know what you're talking about," or "I didn't say that." They don't even remember the stuff they said 10 seconds ago. They all have double minds. Everybody. Me too at times, obviously. We all do if you're here. The rate of the opening. So it says what he will do. Solemnity, beginning and celebration. So that's 2,000, but I just want to see if they changed anything else. Okay. Hold, please. I'm going to go back to the EWTN article for myself because there's something that I need to see real quick there. And that I need to show you all. You know what? Let's do this one. Okay, so here's another source. And this is right from Greece. Okay, this is Greek Reporter. Pope to open 5 holy doors at the Vatican starting on Christmas Eve. Why does everyone have a problem with this? Because one of the doors is in a prison. My problem with this is what has been done in that prison. It's not consecrated ground, right? So what are you opening up in that prison? Could they possibly have had other types of rituals done there? What I really want to know is what land that prison is on, and I was trying to look that up, and I can find almost nothing out about this actual prison. And I haven't seen any other YouTubers cover this aspect. So it says here, the first time the holy doors of the 4 Roman basilicas were opened to mark the special tradition of 1423. Was in 1423, and they've been regularly opened since. However, 2025 marks another first. A symbolic door will be opened in a Roman prison, making it the 5th sacred portal. Now they're using this word. They're getting on YouTubers' cases for oh, you're causing a panic or whatever. The door was okay. So the Pope will begin the ritual to commence the year of the Jubilee on Christmas Eve, when he will open the first sacred portal at the Northeast. Ironically enough, I looked up some information about the Northeast because I live in Northeast Ohio and everything went wonky here. The Northeast allegedly is witches' territory. Anywhere you're at, if it's the Northeast, it's their territory. So not only am I in the Northeast of the country, I'm also in the Northeast of the state. Beautiful, beautiful time to be alive in this area. And the sad thing is again, I like most of these people. Like, I'm not going to get down on somebody for the religion that they practice. I can think it's backwards. They probably think mine is backwards. Like, that's not the thing. The thing is when you're purposely doing harm to others, it's not your job to hand out purgatory to people unless you're an angel and God has asked you to do that. Like, it's not our job to do certain things. Yes, you have to deal with consequences. Yes, there should be law and order. But things that are not against the law, but if somebody hurts your feelings or makes you look bad or hurts your pride, it's not your job to go out there and humiliate them. Like, that's not how it should work. But again, what is public humiliation a part of? It's a part of the initiation ritual. I believe they were trying to secretly initiate me. And they would say, well, you said it all. You said all the words you needed to say, even though we gave you all the information backwards and upside down. And who knows what would have happened to me if God hadn't opened my eyes to what was going on. So the doors closed with the bricks following the celebration of the Jubilee in 2016, but the bricks were taken down on December 2nd. So check out this prism. The next one will be, oh my gosh, a gyro. I haven't had one of those in forever. These ads are of the devil. I'm sorry. The next one will be opened on December 26th when the pontiff will open the symbolic door. Notice they're not saying holy door, right? They're not calling this one a holy door. When the pontiff will open the symbolic door at the Roman prison of Rabibia for the feast of St. Stephen. St. Stephen, we'll look into him too, though I don't know if we'll do this right now. I might have a follow-up on him, and just do that as an upload so that I can learn how to do those on this new device. But correct me if I'm wrong, was it him or Philip that was the first first martyred apostle, the first disciple that was killed? Again, they're telling us what time it is, man. Like I've heard These kids that I work with, one of the kids that I work with, and my own spouse, although he was very blatant about it, they have worked into conversations the term public execution several times now in different ways. When I tell you it's coming, it's coming. This is how it happens. I don't know why. I don't know why God's showing it to me and then I'm telling you. And then it happens in the public. But again, he's talking to a lot of us. It's just we all interpret different. Some of us are receiving different parts of the message, which is why we should really collaborate. But I can't really get anyone to do that. And I've not tried in like 2 years because everybody wants money. Everybody wants popularity and fame. I don't care about none of that. Like, I just don't. That's not what we should be concerned about. Right now, we should be concerned about getting people on the ark, and the ark is Christ. Get in the ark. I don't care if you, I wish you would convert to Catholicism, because I do believe still that it's the universal church, right? And there is something to be said for getting baptized as a baby. I do think that you should still have to like make the decision as an adult, but I should have been dead so many times. And I credit my baptism, like, dead. And when I say dead, like, I've told you, I've left my body a couple of times. And when I was 3, I did die. In 2019, I did die. Came right back into my body, but like, God is present. He is here. So it says here, I think of prisoners who, and I really actually like what he says here, deprived of their freedom, daily feel the harshness of detention and its restrictions, lack of affection, and, in more than a few cases, lack of respect, said Pope Francis. Ooh, boy, that says a lot. In order to offer prisoners a concrete, there's another word, concrete, sign of closeness, I would myself like to open a holy door in a prison as a sign inviting. You see these words they're using? Remember what I taught you about consent? Don't invite nothing in, man. Not into your home, not into your family, not into your body. And that's what you're doing when you play with demons or you spill your own blood. As a sign inviting prisoners to look to the future with hope and a renewed sense of confidence. What about repentance? What about repentance? Shouldn't you say that you're doing this to show them love? Because yes, of course, they're still human. They still need love. They still need basics like shelter, food, fresh water, and they deserve that. Every human being, there's a level of dignity that we should give to each other, no matter who we are, even if we're enemies. But you need to talk about what got them there in the first place. What got them into prison? See, this guy, and he said the same weird things about hell. But again, I think I did a video on that too. I told you. He said hell. The hope is that hell is empty. They're saying that because again, it's a sign. Oh my God, Grecian delight, Kronos. It's called Kronos. He ate his own children, and they got meat chilling there. Am I the only one who sees this like stuff that everyone is doing in really bad taste? No pun intended. Am I losing my mind? Well, don't answer that one, but yeah, Gosh, you guys are still here. This is awesome. I'm going to look at the number 5 in just a minute, but I want you to see something because I could not find what I wanted to know was what ground, what land this prison is on, right? Because if it's not consecrated ground, symbolically, what are you inviting? Because imagine this, okay? I've said the same thing about voting. Let's assume the Pope is still the Pope. He's still alive. He's still him, and he's still Catholic, even though people misquote him all the time. And he is on the wrong side. Like he's able to fall right now because his doctrine is not correct. When your doctrine gets out of skew, when the hierarchy in your head gets out of skew, you stumble because everything's off kilter and you fall. Okay. So if obviously he's already off kilter. So if this Pope goes and does this, right, and it's an invitation to prisoners, what do you think of prisoners? A lot of them have attachments, yeah. And there's probably been a lot of bad things that happen at that prison, so you probably have some residual things, bad mojo, whatever you call it, whatever you want to call it. I don't care what you call it. But then, what is another type of prison? The abyss, right? The abyss. Who has the keys to the prison? The abyss. Who was given the keys? The angel, right? However, who was given the keys as far as humanity goes? Peter, the Catholic Church, right? So if this Pope, who's already off kilter, goes in this prison where it's not sacred ground and it's not an established holy door, it's not consecrated ground, and he, quote unquote, he's already said he's inviting prisoners. What if he invites something from the abyss into himself by doing this? But let's take it one step further, like we did with politics. Like the reason I told you all not to vote, and you're gonna leave don't leave, don't be a child. Here's the reason that I don't vote, okay? It is an entirely spiritual reason, and it's practical too. Number one, I don't know enough about politics. I feel like the vote would be wasted. It's great that women have the ability to vote, but I don't per se want to do that myself. Spiritually speaking, let's say it is the end days. Let's say you go vote for whoever you vote for. Let's say that person is not in favor with God and is instead inhabited by the Antichrist spirit. And everyone who signs their name under somebody else's, another man's name, you're then consenting for that man, that being, to rule over you. This is why they're legion. This is how it's happening. You don't have to believe me, but that's one way it's happening. Another way it's happening, and this is why you see so many cops who are off kilter, and this is why you see so many judges who are off kilter. This is why you're seeing so many resignations. Remember earlier in the video when I said a lot of these alien abductions were happening to police members? And that they thought that we would believe them. They thought that we would listen to everything they had to say, only they pushed too far. They're not playing the long game very well. They showed their hands. I'm using a lot of analogies here for a reason, because the other ones don't understand them. That's why Jesus spoke in parables. The other ones of the other bloodline don't understand parables. The Nephilim, the fallen one, well, the fallen ones kinda, but the Nephilim don't understand parables. Their bloodline do not understand parables or analogies. So let's say then that this pope is inhabited by some nasty thing, some black goo type thing, right? What do you suppose happens to the hierarchy of the church then, of all these men who are under him, who are led by him, who have agreed, who are in communion with him? Well, then spiritually, they are under his control too. Do you see what I'm getting at? Do you see why you got to play chess, why you got to think several moves ahead, and why it's not enough to play surface level, but you got to go real deep? And I don't mean anything against big YouTubers. They're making their cheddar. They're young, they're living the life. And I don't have anything per se against success. My problem is they are compromising truth. They might not have morals, they might not have ethics, but if you're going to be a journalist, if you want taken seriously as an adult and as a journalist, you need to tell the truth and you need to be brave. You need to tell the truth no matter what the consequences are going to be. We are the people who follow Christ. Those of us who stand firm and strong in truth, even after being heinous sinners ourselves, knowing that it's a risk to our very lives. I'm telling you now, nobody is looking at the right things. Nobody's talking about the right things. Nobody's asking the right questions. With Michelle Obama and Melania Trump, and how everyone was saying, oh, they're racist. They didn't like Melania's speech, but they liked it when Obama said it. Hello? That's not the right thing to be focusing on. People should be asking why these two first ladies from different terms are using the same darn speech. People should be character. He took that from MLK. And I know this because I share a birthday with him. I've done a lot of research on him, and I also drew him. I don't draw a person unless I know them a bit. Martin Luther King said that. He dreamt of the day when people would be judged by the color of their skin, but of the content of their character. They are repeating the history over and over and over again, and people are falling for it. And they want you depressed and down, and not just to like steal your loose or your energy, but because that's how you play the game. If you defeat your opponent in the mind first, you've already beaten them on the field or the court. My dad used to tell me that all the time as my coach. You have to visualize winning. You have to visualize hitting that ball. You have to visualize crossing that finish line with God and your salvation intact. Okay? The idea of the year of the Jubilee dates back to the Old Testament. A lot of people don't know that. First mentioned in Leviticus 25, the special time only came around once every 50 years after the completion of 7 cycles of 7 years, or 49 years. 7 cycles of 7 years, or 49 years. Boy, I really hope the tribulation isn't actually 49 years instead of 7. Something's bothering me about that, though, about everybody's calculations about how long it's going to last. Because I feel like time is funny right now. It's a funny thing. Some days I feel young. I swear I look that young. Some days I feel old. I swear I look that old. Okay, so let's go to... Oh, the Jubilee year was a year of atonement for the Israelites of the Old Testament. According to the Lord's command, they were supposed to release all their servants and prisoners. Look at that. Release all your servants and prisoners. You're seeing a lot of that happen right now, aren't you? With the Menendez brothers, like they're going to let them out. They're going to let them out. Oh, they've been falsely accused. Do you think so? Really? Do you think that's the truth? Do you think they're even in jail? Do those people even go to jail? They're on TV. A lot of them are LDS people. They're usually on TV more than once. The Menendez brothers, that was a script. They wrote the screenplay, and then it happened in their real life, allegedly. Or is that their way of telling you that everything you see on the news is fake, used as scare tactics? I can't decide that for you. You got to decide that yourself. Okay, so we're going to look at something else real quick. A couple other little things, and I just want you to see. So the Roman prison, I have done a search on it, but I haven't found anything yet. If I do, I will surely let you know, but I'm going to close a couple of these things now, and I want you to see. Okay, so getting back to 5. Hey, that's his leash. He didn't mean to rub you. You're okay? You're all right. I'm sorry. This isn't going to be too much longer. I want it to be user-friendly. If I have to extend it, I will. But I also want to show you a couple things that I've been working on, which are crazy. But now that I have a computer, I'm kind of a dork. Like, Wait, let's do this. Corporations with the number 5. About 3,520,000 results. So I know we have Five Below, 5 Guys. We have 5G. And what is 5G and 5 Guys? What is that telling you? 5 Below. It's telling you where they come from. Some of them, I believe, are frozen in Antarctica. I believe that is their Tartarus. It is Hades. I believe their hell is cold to a certain extent. The Lake of Fire is a different thing altogether. The pit's a different thing. I believe the abyss is in the ocean. I've showed you the actual furnaces that release smoke in the water. I've shown you all of that and why I believe what I believe and why God led me to all this. Why was I led to the number 5? Because my husband and son had worked for one of these corporations. So we have 5G and 5 Guys. What is that telling us? Are these the same individuals? I bet you there's going to be 5 of them, right? So who do you got now? Because there's 5 guys on the court for a game, right? For a basketball game, and all the NBA players are Freemasons. They're all magicians. Look at the stuff they do. I mean, it's true. You don't have to believe me. Magic Johnson. Look at what they do. Look how high they can jump and how far they go and how big and tall they are. There's a reason for all of this happening at this time. And the sad thing is they've bought off and bribed and blackmailed all of the minorities. The minorities think they're getting love bombed right now from the dark side, from Satan, from Lucifer. And a lot of them are falling for it because they have been bullied, they've been neglected. Um, their parents or their families or their spouses or their siblings have been negligent or outright abusive. All of this that we have done is coming back to roost. What you sow, you shall reap. We have sown all this. And it's sad because not all of us participated to the fullest extent, but all the same. This is why you need to pray for us as a nation, not just yourself. I have a hard time praying for myself, so I ask for God to give me graces. But beyond that, pray for as many groups or people, as you can. Sometimes there aren't any magic words, so to speak, but sometimes there are. And you need to learn about your authority. Certain things you shouldn't be praying for, and that's why you get bounce back or boomerang effect. Certain things you shouldn't be praying for other people. You don't have that authority. So, all right. So, wow, there's a lot. Fortune 500. In Gematria, you drop the zeros. So we've got 5G, 5 below, which tells us, will there be 5 of them? So we've got Elon Musk, Trump, Jordan Peterson, the Pope, because he's always going to play a part. And the 5th one will be the actual Antichrist, whoever he inhabits. We know that Trump's son is very well mannered. He's very charming. He's very, very tall as well, right? And I told you the kids were running this. So it's very possible that, hey, maybe my son is acting like an Antichrist, but he is not the Antichrist. I'll tell you what, he allegedly had a baby on 6/6/24. 2 + 4 is 6. And they've done some heinous things to me. They're my family, and I pray for them every day. But I'm not gonna denounce or renounce God anymore. I'm not gonna keep him at bay just to make other people feel better, especially now knowing what I know. Okay, so there's a lot of them. You just saw the results. How many results? Okay, so let's do another one. Let's do the spiritual meaning of 5. Balance, harmony, and devotion. Oh, what is that? Is that Buddhism? Oh, in tarot and numerology, the number 5 emphasizes the importance of staying open, trusting intuition, and embracing freedom. Well, let's look at some other. Okay, what else do we have? 5 senses, guys. We have our eyes, our ears, our nose, right? It's the 6th one right now you need to be paying attention to. 5 is also what? It comes before 6, mark of the beast. Number 5 comes before 6, okay? But let's keep going. I want the occultish number. I want the hidden number that not many people look at, but we'll look at the I really like Microsoft Bing. I can't lie. Like, I'm so tired of Google. I'm just tired of it. There we go. I was not sharing the right tab. I'm sorry. I hope you forgive me. I know it's nice that you're here anyway at my tiny channel, so thank you. Oh, another thumbs up, you guys. Okay, so appearances in the number 5. The book of Psalms is divided into 5 major sections. Holy anointing oil is mentioned in Exodus. Wait, we got to look at that real quick because that's important. There are 5 books of God's laws, okay, commonly referred to as the, I know how to say it, but there's the root word is penta, okay, because you don't actually pronounce that first thing. Pentateuch, Septuagint, and the, words are my gift, but there are certain words that my tongue trips over. I apologize. The 4 Gospels plus Acts equals 5. John wrote 5 books centered on the grace of God and eternal life. Jesus multiplied 5 loaves of barley to feed 5,000. Holy oil is mentioned. Its ingredients, which were given directly by God, were used to consecrate the furniture at the tabernacle. It was comprised of 5 parts, as it was a revelation of pure grace. The proportion of spices used in making oil were a multiple of 5. which then had a hint of olive oil added to it. Pure myrrh, 500 shekels. I thought shekels were money. Sweet cinnamon, 250 shekels. Sweet calamus, 250 shekels. Cassia, like Cassiopeia, cinnamon. I actually bought myrrh. God's been giving me these ingredients, and I just have to go back to the Old Testament and read it. I wonder why he's been giving me this, though. What does he want me to do with it? The tabernacle in the wilderness profoundly reflects God's grace in its use of 5. Hold, please. I'm reading just to see what this has to do with the number 5. Prophecy and world empires of ruling empires. I don't see a 5 there. What is this about? Oh. The 2 legs of iron symbolize Rome's empire, period 5. The final prophetic period is represented by 10 toes of iron mixed with clay. This symbolizes the successors of of the Roman Empire. The devil and demons, the Greek word antidikos and antidikos, Strong's Concordance G476, I need to download that onto here, is written 5 times in 4 Greek New Testament verses. It is found only in the books of Matthew, Luke, and 1 Peter. The word means adversary or opponent, and although it usually used of humans, it can also reference the devil. So that word is written 5 times. The book of Matthew, I want to know where it's at in Matthew. So that's the Greek word for adversary or opponent. There was in a city a judge which feared not God, neither regarded man, and there was a widow in that city, and she came unto him, saying, Avenge me of mine adversary. That's where they said it. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary. Okay, so the Greek antichristos, Strong's G500, and if it's gematria, or zeros kind of don't count, is written 5 times. So both of them, not just antidikos, but also antichristos, the Antichrist, is written 5 times as well. It's only found in the books of 1 and 2 John. The word translated as Antichrist in King James refers to someone who is an opponent or an adversary of the Messiah. For many deceivers are entered into the world who confess not that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh. This is a deceiver and an antichristos. The New Agers, the ones who say Christ is more of a idea and a concept. I mean, he is that. He's everything. The Greek daemon, this demon, is a word that refers to one or more evil spirits, is recorded 5 times. Hold up. That's important. So it is going to be 5 guys, basically. I was right about that too. God gave me the hint about that, and I figured it out. Forgive me, I'm tired. All the glory goes to God all the time. So this is wild. So first we have the word antidikos being used 5 times, which means adversary, right? Antichristos being used 5 times, which means the Antichrist. And then we have daemon, meaning demon or evil spirits, meaning legion, basically. And look at this. Look at what verse they picked. This is where they use that word. It is a word that refers to one or more evil spirits. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, daemon, and the hold of every false spirit. When is he doing this? Opening these doors? December 24th. And I had that dream about Mary and the blood falling from the sky, which had everything to do with the White House, though, so something going on there. Guys, that's wild. Like, that's important to me. I don't know if you guys see that, but that's pretty. What do you mean share this tab instead? I thought I was sharing that tab. Guess I didn't go over here. I'm sorry. It says it right here, you guys. So right there it says the Antitikos, that was used 5 times, and then the Antichristos used 5 times, and then daemon was also used 5 times. I thought I was on the right page. I'm still getting used to this. You guys have been really awesome, though. Okay, so now what did I want to look at? We'll go back here, and I will toggle it. Okay, so back to the number 5. Only a couple more minutes, then I'm going to end this video because I want to show you a peek at what I've been working on. What does 5 signify? So we saw what it could mean in the Bible, right? Oh, the picture of the... I got to show you this. Hold on. I did find something about that jail. Okay, remember I said I couldn't find much about it? Oh no, did I get rid of you? Where'd you go? Okay, we're going to close this one. Hold, please. I just want to go to the one that talks about the jail again. Can you give me the jail lyric? Where did it go? Or link? Doors as portals. No. We'll get to that. Where is the prison? Hold on. Sorry. Depicts the following scenes, explains the holy door 16, right? Okay, so now this tells you like what everything means, right, in the ritual. I will go over that again if people want to see it. We can go over the actual ritual in depth. It was enough for me to see that what the changes were kind of made it backwards. Okay, so I'm just going to type this up here since you guys are here with me. Roman prison. I want you guys to see something. On December 26, 2024, the feast of St. Stephen, Pope Francis will open a holy door in the Roman prison of Rebibbia, marking a historic moment in the history of Jubilee years. It will be the first time that, in addition to the holy doors open in the 4 Roman papal basilicas, one will also be opened in a penal institution too. So you couldn't just leave it at 4, man. You couldn't just stop there. No, you've got to do it your own way. Most unique door. I want to see the prison. Show me the prison. Show it to me. I got to show you guys something. So this is Rebibbia prison. This is the women of Rebibbia. This is photos of Rebibbia. I want to see the outside. I got to show you guys. Damn it. Why? Okay. Sorry. There we go. All right. So I want you to see this jail. There was a link, though, that from 2018 is why I opened it. So I want you to see it. Pope Francis isn't opening 5 sacred portals on Christmas Eve. That's what Snopes says. So if Snopes says he's not, chances are they know he is. I hate Snopes. No offense. I dislike you. Roman prison. Show me the prison in 2018. Come on, guys. You showed it to me earlier. There it is. So these folks visited this prison in 2018. Why did I pick this link? Because it was from 2018. You guys, most of you know how I feel about that year. I feel like my life went inside out and upside down that year. It's when I started having the dreams. The dream that wasn't a dream. That was some type of encounter. Some pretty young people there. Gorgeous looking young people, of course. Where are they at? They're in prison. Check this out. Check out what this girl says. Rabibia was probably the most unique experience I will have while studying abroad in Rome. I shook hands with a man who murdered someone, and he was one of the friendliest guys I've ever met. I went into it expecting to get harassed by inmates and to be frightened, and by the end, I felt completely opposite. Listening to Constantine play his violin almost brought tears to my eyes. You could see how his past mistakes and being in Rabibia has taught him and every other inmate we met so much about themselves and how to rise above their mistakes. That's good. It's good if they have that attitude. Is it real though? And why did this visit take place in 2018? I still can't find much about its history, but if you check this out, they got the same thing that most of our police wear, the star with the circle. Now, again, star with the circle is also, it started out as David's symbol. Every symbol, every word, every letter, every language comes from the Most High God. Every bit of life comes from Him first. You have to be okay with that. We're co-creators. That needs to be enough. The most important portal is the portal inside a woman, the womb. It brings life forward. A lot of portals are found in water, or water has to be near. So I don't know what to think about this door. I've not seen the actual door. Are they constructing the door first and putting it there? Like, it obviously doesn't have a quote unquote holy door, right? I'm sorry to be ignorant about this topic, but aren't I sharing this page? What are you talking about? Oh, I'm not. It did it again. I guess when it opens a new link, I have to go with it. I'm sorry. This symbol, you see the star in the circle there? Yeah, on the outside. I didn't know, like, it was a universal symbol for justice. And that bothers me too, because justice here, especially now, is a little backwards. Okay, so one more thing, real quick. We've done this before. We have gone over this and over this. Now, what is a famous story that talks about portals? Well, one is Narnia, right? They go into the wardrobe. Closets are almost always end up being portals. My closets have actually been special to me. My sister actually locked me in a closet when I was too old, but she did, and I'm now afraid of them. Oh no, don't do that. Just stay where you're at. Or at least I'm afraid of small spaces and being locked in them forever. I don't think I'm afraid of them though. I go out of my way now to find the tiniest place in a room and just not be noticed. So it tells you, I want to know what it was first. You remember how CERN, guys, it is literally built on the gate or the old altar of Apollo, the old god that they used to worship, the pagan god Apollo. Yeah. Okay, it's located on ancient Via Tiburtina on the northeast, there it is again. What did I tell you about that earlier? Northeast edge of the city. Administratively, Rabibia is part of both Ponte Mammon, that sounds like Mammon, Quarter Rome, and Municipio IV of Rome. The suburb first developed family homes, largely built on 2 churches, having been renovated in modern style. The prison holds 352 men and 1,927 women. Like, why? 9, 7, 2297, I think. 22. Okay, anyway. It housed would-be papal assassin during his prison time in Italy. And that pope, he went to visit the guy that tried to end him. See, they don't tell you anything about it, though. Like, where did it come from? Who opened it? Did they consecrate the land? Like, they tell you nothing about the history. And that's what I'm trying to find out. Okay, so one more thing. Let's go here. Again. Okay, so we are going to always revisit this topic because I do believe that it's important. Doors, passageways between the physical and the spiritual. So you see that this is the power of portals, exploring symbolism. Symbolism, you got to understand that. Like, it's not, things are only wicked when you use them in a wicked way with wicked intentions. Things are just things. The sacred gates, entrance to mythical realms. The symbolism of doors. Okay. Okay, so what else did I say? We did the Pope. We did the number 5. We did the doors. Is there something else I was supposed to go over? Am I forgetting something, y'all? We're going to back here. We'll catch the rest on replay. It's so awesome that you were here. Thanks so much for being here. I appreciate it. All right, so I don't know if there was anything else I was going to cover. Let me just check my little tabs up here and make sure. Rabibia. I really, guys, if you are interested and you can find anything more out about Rabibia, by all means. I did want to go over. Was that now? Oh, the drones. I did say that I thought that it's very possible either A, it's misdirection. They want us looking there and there's nothing there. Number two, what I find weird is every time things ratchet up in Syria, they need to find reasons that stuff is flying around in our skies. So it's very possible that they're straight up lying about the news outside of our country and holding it all here and faking it. Part of me thinks that some of it is that way. Not all of it, but some of it. And I know that it is because I know who our enemies are. I know who my enemies are, and I know who God's enemies are. I don't know why. He gives me that discernment of spirit, and I know them almost instantly. And I will tell you, some of the bigger channels, these people preaching that it's the end time, Protestants. Even though it seems like that, they're on the other side, and I can tell it by the things that they say and the things that they do. You're not supposed to be charitable in front of people. You're not supposed to brag about being charitable in front of people. You're supposed to tell people to get baptized. It's not enough to just grab the Bible. Like, they're just grifters, guys. They just want to make money. And some of them are straight up on the other team. So why are they telling us it's the end? I don't know. I'm very suspicious of everything that's happening right now. The only thing I know is nothing is as we were told it is. I would like to do something, but I don't know if I can. So I want to look at it, and if I can bring it to you guys, I will. So just hang on. Let me see if I can show this to you. How do I... Is there a way that I can show you guys this window? Shoot. No. How do I move you down? I just want you to move down. There we go. All right. So what are you guys seeing right now? You're not seeing any of this. Okay. Can I... Darn it. I just wanted to show you guys what I've been working on. And it's a lot. Like, there's a lot here. Okay. So far, I'll read it to you. It disappeared. Oh. That's new. I didn't know I could do that. Okay. Is there any way that I can show this? It's not an internet window, though. Like, will it let me? Shoot. I'd probably have to change something. I'm not gonna read it to you because again, it's a sneak peek. But I want to tell you something I've been working on. Okay, so I started a note, right? It started as a note, literally. I wanted to make a comprehensive, quick list of all the movies I could think of off the top of my head that were about a false reality. And then I wanted to think of all the TV shows that I knew that were about false reality. And then I went to actors in my head that I could come up with off the top of my head who were in these movies about false realities. Guys, this is bad. Like, I really think this is bad, and I know people are going to not believe me. People usually don't, but everything God has given me there is everywhere now. Like it is being exposed to be true. Everything he told me. I'm sorry if you weren't on the original Brie and Jen channel. I did kind of nuke it. There's a reason for that. So anyway, I'm going to tell you right now that I had to go. It wasn't enough. I had to go and actually look, like Google it because there's so many. Right now, I can't even tell you. I should change it to numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Right now, I have about 30 movies listed as false reality movies. Television one I just started, I've only got 3 on there, but that doesn't include newer streaming and all that. Actors repeatedly cast in false reality roles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. And a couple of them always played the same type of parts. Here's another one. Directors and producers involved with them. I have one so far. David Lynch. I still got to get like Spielberg and all that. So yeah, I remember when I told you I had a theory that not all movies were actually movies and that maybe we were watching people's lives play out in some way that I did not understand. I think typecasting almost proves that theory. And people, again, I know you're not going to believe me, not everybody, and that's fine, but just hear what I'm saying. So you take Ed Harris, for example, and we'll do a video like with his part in this, but he's always God or the controller of the realm. In Truman, he was Truman's God. In Snowpiercer, he was their God, basically. He was at the top of the hierarchy. He seems to play those roles a lot. Okay, like a lot. Um, Jennifer Connelly. She has the initials JC as well as Jim Carrey. And they both play almost the same characters who hint at having the same talents. For example, Jennifer Connelly, her characters that she plays, they're always interested in fashion. She's always drawing in a notebook about fashion or looking at fashion or she is into fashion. Same with Molly Ringwald. She's always a singer, not playing the singer, but she always has singing somewhere. I mean, I know that gives her a chance to sing in the movie, but when you see things that are repetitively done as a pattern in the algorithm of our reality, you at least have to examine them. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to look at people who've been typecast into these movies with false realities. And we're going to explore the idea, are some of them actually happening? We're going to do a couple of fan theories. Are some of them happening in the same universe, so to speak? Fictional universe. We'll start there. You're going to start to notice some strange things about all the commonalities that they do share. So I'm going to bounce. This has been a little longer than I planned, but it takes me a few minutes to get adjusted to what I'm doing. I do have stuff to say about my personal testimony yet again and still, but I want to learn how to do an upload, just record a video and upload it with the laptop. That will give me a good chance to do that, as will the Melania Trump Obama short video that I would like to do as well. I love you guys. You're awesome. Thank you for being here and keeping me company. Thank you for your patience. May God bless you. May the Holy Spirit go ahead of you and bless your path and bless all those that you will interact with and soften the hearts, minds, words, and deeds of all those that you will interact with so that you are blessed. Thank you so much for being here. We'll talk more. Bye, guys.